I'm going to have to go over there and teach.
Yes. And on this shoot, what exactly is the fluffer's roll again?
What is a fluffer's roll on the Bow River? You can that fish you can false cast to.
Yeah, he's
deep.
He's far enough out. And if you wade into the river, when your hat floats, you're too deep, come back.
That's the one I want.
Oh, that one's only 4.5 inches. Between the eyes.
So how long is the, how much river do you have between Calgary and the end of most floats?
From 17th Avenue Cushing Bridge to the Weir Carsland is in the neighborhood of 60 kilometers, over 40 miles. And it's broke down into several stretches. Graves Bridge at Glenmore Trail, the 22X Bridge at Fish Creek Park, Policeman's Landing, McKinnon Flats, Legacy Island, and then the conclusion is at Carsland Weir. And they range in length from 4 miles, 15 miles, 20 miles, 9 miles, 6 miles.
So I guess that comes out with you whether they've got a half day, a little more than a half day, full week, 2 days, 3 days. They can get a sample of pretty much everything this river has to offer.
Excellent opportunities. Matter of fact, there's so many stretches on the river that you can go a half a mile and spend all day on, offering a variety of pool, riffle, little grassy edge, snout hunting. Obviously, I'm not a walker, but those guys that like to walk, they can walk 3-4 miles along the river with access and fish whatever water they like. The river has an incredible population of trout, in excess of 1,600 trout a mile, and 50-50 rainbows and brown trout, although I figure the rainbow trout population is a little higher than that. And we also have mountain whitefish, the occasional cutbow, the occasional brookie, even the occasional lake trout sneaks in, and there's been a few northern pike seen in the river over the years. The water isn't that friendly to northern pike because the brown trout love eating little pike. And so,
Pike's like a little warmer water too. This is
yeah.
I mean, this is a real tailwater fishery, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cold. Yeah. Yeah, the other day I took the temperature and it was 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
So even in the heat of summer, this is a place that offers that angling opportunity when a lot of the small streams are way too warm to be fishing in.
Yeah. Well, plus over the years, I've had the opportunity to send people and guide other streams. And I made the decision a long time ago that if I was to put any pressure on any stream, the Bow River would be, because I believe that it can handle the pressure of anglers and boat traffic above all else in the province. And there's some people compare the angling pressure, they think it's excessive here on the Bow River. However, had an opportunity to fish the Montana streams, the Madison, the Yellowstone, and the Green River in Utah. The angling pressure that we see on this Bow River is nothing what people experience on those other trout streams. I guess it's the fact that we live in Canada, we figure that we don't want to see another angler within our eyes travel. If we do, it's too crowded. But
so then for people visiting from places like Europe or England or the United States who are used to shoulder fishing,
yeah,
this is on a busy day. This is a totally different experience.
Yeah, this is wide open even on a busy day. Yeah.
So everybody's got their own little piece of this river.
Right.
Nobody's fighting for.
Yeah, and whether you boat fish or pontoon boat or walk and wade, you're always fishing new water as you move along. And I like this stretch. I could spend 4 hours on this half-mile of river, and yet over the whole float, I got a spot here and a spot there that I could equally spend 4 hours of fishing. And I like this spot in particular for teaching people how to fly cast because it's got a clear back area. There's not a lot of pressure from the trees. And The water is gentle enough to wade in. It's not a very tricky spot to fish.
And it's pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I mean, this piece of water.
Yeah. When we pulled in here, we had six white-tailed deer getting some water down the bank here, until I took pictures and scared them all away with my rapid-fire camera. And if you wade into the river, when your hat floats, you're too deep, come back.
I'll edit that out. That was a classic. The second you hit that tree, it was like a mass.
Oops. Here we go rowing the boat in June. Oh, hang on.
July. Yeah, just for a few more hours.
What I would like to do is to introduce people to the simplest learning curve on casting a fly rod. Basically, you have built-in instruction and teacher's aid in just what you're doing with your hand. When the knuckles are pointing down, you're fishing. When you get ready to cast, you just rotate your hand to what we call the light switch. This is your casting position. You don't hesitate there. You just come up to the light switch and then push your thumb straight up in the air. When the back side of your thumb is straight up in the air, you're in the perfect position to make the back cast. You wait for the back cast to straighten out with a pregnant pause, and in order to get a good cadence, say to yourself something that's easy to remember. For me, it's I love redheads. I love redheads, and then back down to the light switch with a flick. There's a little flick right at the bottom at the light switch, both going up and coming down. The casting stroke is a more up and down motion than a swing or a push-pull, and definitely not twisting the wrist. Knuckles down, no power, rotate to the light switch, stab the sky, I love a redhead, chop the chicken. You have to have a chopping motion, and the chopping motion and the stabbing motion put the fly line out in a nice tight loop off of the tip top of the rod. In order to practice your casting, you just basically have to practice this casting motion with your hand. Up and down, up and down. With practice, you'll be able to cast a fly rod in no time at all. What you want to do is to take off 2 lengths of fly line, and if your rod's a 9-footer, that'll get you 18 feet of fly line out of the tip of the rod. Shake the rod back and forth, left to right, to get the line out instead of trying to cast it off. Strip the line off the reel, lock it under your trigger finger, waggle the rod tip left to right to clear the line. Make sure your line is locked. Rotate to the stab position, raise it up, chop it down. A roll cast does the same thing. With a roll cast, you raise the rod up to the 12 o'clock position and chop it forward. You want to have that little bit of a loop dropping behind the rod to make the roll cast work. The combination of the roll cast and the snap back with a proper presentation of the cast will allow you to clear your line and fly cast better. So review, knuckles down, no power. Rotate to the light switch, stab the sky, I love a redhead, chop the chicken. Just as simple as that. Back and forth, nice practice. And with that, you'll be able to aim the cast with your thumb wherever you want the fly to go. Your back cast is nice and high. The fly clears the water on the back cast, and you'll have a nice dry fly without having to wave the rod back and forth 1,000 times. The fly in the water is going to catch more fish than the fly in the air. Knuckles down, no power, rotate the light switch, stab the sky, wait for the back cast, chop the chicken. if you're used to spin fishing, if you have extra line off the reel, as you cast, you let the line go and it'll go out. This is what I wanted to review so people can learn how to cast a fly rod real quick. Stab and chop, not waving it around, not tennis, not badminton, not baseball. Keep a nice tight line, no extra motions. Stop, chop. Thank you. Down. Now imagine the light switch on the wall right here. Stab it on, chop it off. Right there. There's your cast. That's a 40-foot cast. Okay. Right there. And your first cast was this. Okay. And then your second cast was okay. Just a flick up, chop down. Oh, look at that drag system. So, stab, chop. Oh, I'm short, but good looking.
So do you routinely share your fishing hole with cattle, Barry?
Yep. I believe in cows and fish. This is where proper casting technique is very important. Stab the sky, chop the chicken. Of course, after we scared all the fish away.
Well, it's not like we didn't work at it.
No, been here for an hour. So we're here to have a good time.
So what's your favorite piece of water on this river?
So on which side
Matt
of the
Jensen's.
stick, on the shore side or on the
Pardon?
Watch for them first.
Yeah, just,
stick?
yeah, well, and then upstream, you see there's 3 rocks in the water? And where the flies are landing, just to the left of the rocks.
There's more than 3 rocks in the water.
No, there's only the 3 that you have. They're in a lineup. They're like 2 feet apart.
Okay.
Stepping stones for small sheep. That's on what we call the outside curve or the point. Okay, within a 60-foot circle of those rocks, you watch for fish. And be very quiet. We don't want to scare them. And they will rise. It's a little early. We got to wait till 11:14.
"28 minutes.